All right, guys. Another video, I guess. I'm gonna sit down for a minute. Makes it easier on me. I was just watching another YouTube channel, which everybody watches YouTube. I get it. You know, you're watching this bullshit video, so you must be into this stuff. But there is a returning theme that fucking annoys the shit out of me. And it's something that I feel like I'm just going to say it on my channel. I'm not here to stroke your ego or tell you you should buy this XXX brand or X amount of whatever. And I have a feeling that all these YouTube channels that do audio are completely retarded. And I'm just going to say it how it is. I'm not going to mention names. You can fill them out yourself. But I was just watching a video from this particular person, and you guys probably know who it is, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to mention him. I'm not going to defame nobody. But best speaker I've ever heard. 2 weeks later, another video. Giant killer. Best speaker I've ever heard. Then another video. Half the price of the one from last week. Best speaker I've ever heard. At that point, you're starting to lose fucking credibility. This is the reason why I don't review stuff. I don't really like reviewing stuff. Now, I did the Kappa 8 because I have a warm heart for these speakers. But I'm not trying to pretend that every time I'm trying something different that it's better than what I have. And this is the proof in the pudding. So you guys know that I play with an RS1, reference standard 1. I had these speakers before. It's not the first time I've had them. I know where you're going with this. Yeah, but you're kind of privileged. I had a set before and I did not like them. I didn't. I actually wrote a review on Audio Karma that got me banned at one point. Now I got to say, Audio Karma is kind of a place for a lot of political correctness in the audio world, which I don't care for. I believe in what I try out doesn't mean it's bad. In my situation, it just didn't work out. Now, in this case, that particular speaker had a lot of issues. So, which I kind of mentioned in the review, but I also mentioned that it's a very complicated speaker to deal with. It's not for everybody. Most people that will probably have a speaker like that will not last long with that speaker. It is a speaker that demands you to be married to it. So, what does that mean? It means that it's a very high demanding speaker on everything you can possibly think of: space, time, patience, understanding, learning curve, that type of thing. This is a speaker that I bought on eBay a couple of years ago. This is an Energy CF70. It's a connoisseur. This is the bottom of the barrel Energy. This was when Energy was taken over by Klipsch. Not a huge respected speaker by any means or stretch of the imagination. There's nothing high end about this speaker. I love the look of this speaker. I love the sound of this speaker in the right situation. I will not tell anybody, buy this thing. This thing is phenomenal. There are certain people in my private circles, they know I'm very outspoken about this particular speaker. I like the balanced sound. I like how it sounds. I like how it looks. It kind of ticks a lot of marks for me in this particular situation. I cannot stress this enough, guys. And this is more for new guys, but also the guys that fall for this review bullshit that you see on YouTube. They go like, "Well, have you seen the review?" That's usually the argument. Well, XX, is reviewing this, very well respected reviewer, so therefore it must be true. No, it's not. That doesn't mean they're lying, but in their situation, they embellish, and they embellish for a reason: money. It's their job. Y'all know who I'm talking about if it comes to that. There are at least 5 or 6 that I can mention on top of my head that operate that way. Hey, would you like to try out our new X branded speaker? Sure, let's review this thing. Oh my God. Sorry, I shouldn't have done that. That sounds so phenomenal. Sounds so much better than the one I had last week that cost double the price. Does that mean they're lying? Maybe, maybe not. But they are embellishing. They also don't mention to you, well, I tried this and that combo on it, and because this is the funny part of it for me. This speaker, fantastic. Instead of my Weem, I use an this, that on it right now. Instead of the amplifier I used last week, I used my other amplifier on this. They don't really mention that. They don't go in depth about it, and you guys miss that cue. So it's like, oh, all right, this guy says sounds great. Let's buy it. Not saying it's going to be a bad speaker because, especially in the speaker world, I like to believe this, and I think this is holds some fundamental truth to it. It's today's assembly, manufacturing, designing with the computer power that we have has gotten a lot better than back in the day. I will take another again. I take another stab at my RS1. You guys know I love that speaker, but it has a lot of flaws. A lot of human hands had hand in that. There's no computers involved in this thing. That was somebody sitting there, came up with this design, and started listening. Sounds good. Sounds great. Let's do this. Let's do that. And revision after revision after revision, you get to a certain point where this speaker sounds really decent. Now you put in field parameters of a driver into a piece of software, and it's already been for the past decades, of course, but now it's so streamlined, it will tell you exactly what you need to do and what you need to build. The manufacturing today has gone a lot better. I do believe for a very fair budget, you can buy a really stellar speaker. But here comes the catch, guys. It all depends in the space it's sitting in. You can buy the cheapest or the most expensive loudspeaker that you can possibly muster up buying. Your space is not accommodating to it. You will never get out of it what you think you're going to get out of it. And I think that's something that these reviewers just skip. Also, where's the credibility of these reviewers when they go, next week or 2 weeks from now, I tried this DAC. Great DAC. Giant killer. Week later, another DAC follows, and another DAC follows, and another DAC follows. Same with loudspeakers and any other component that they review. To me, their credibility is tanking by each review that they do. There's barely any critical thought behind it. It's just the very generic trumping up of specifications and so-called measurements that they come up with, but they will not really tell you the truth. They will not address the real elephant in the room, and that is their own fallacy. Gee, I was listening, didn't really like the low end of this speaker. I would suggest putting a subwoofer with it. I suggest that maybe my space is not really adequate for this particular speaker, or, I've tried this, tried that, tried that. No, none of that. And that is so fucking annoying to me that I felt I wanted to make a video about that. This sounds like a rant because it fucking is. It is a fucking rant. Um, Guys, don't let reviewers tell you what to buy. Today, if you go to Amazon, um, I'm going to say Amazon here because it's one of the biggest conglomerates out there where you can buy audio equipment these days with a very good return policy. Don't be scared to try something for yourself and think for yourself. Okay, you don't need strangers to tell you what is best for you, and this is such a stellar buy. That because your buddy didn't like it doesn't mean you should not like it. Okay. There is tons of stuff out there that you can buy. Secondhand, it's a little bit more risky, especially for the newer guys that have never ventured into this world. I've been in this stuff for over 20 years. I'm not an expert. Nobody is. You cannot tell me that somebody has been 30 years or 40 years and I have two guys in these groups. I've been doing this for 50 years when you were still a little speck on the radar. It doesn't matter. Because I drive a car, I'm a car mechanic now. Because I drive a car, I'm now a technician and know how to build an engine. No, I don't. I know how to do an oil change, but that's where it kind of stops. Right? So don't let that guide you. Guide yourself. Have some trust in yourself. Reviews, when you read them, see them as a mild form of entertainment. Yes, maybe you can get some basic information from it. Like, okay, it looks good and it looks nice, and I think it looks nice on that stand, and it looks pretty decent in that room. Nobody can tell you how it sounds, really. Every room sounds differently. These loudspeakers are very, very well, how do I put this? They're very connected to the space that they're in. So don't let a reviewer tell you what to buy. Don't hang your opinion on because XXX reviewer said on the internet that it was great. So what the fuck are you talking about? Try it for yourself. Buy it and try it. You don't like it? Send it back. It's easy. You bring it to a Kohl's or to a nearby, whatever the heck, Whole Foods, and you're good. There's trial periods these days. That is the beautiful part of online shopping. You run very little risk of losing money. The worst that can happen is that you actually like what you hear and you keep it. That's literally the worst, best thing that can happen. So, I mean, it's, yeah, guys, that's all I have to say in this video. I know I sound like I'm a ranter, but you know me. I'm just being straight. I don't script stuff. I don't polish things. I do my thing. But I also feel that all these reviewers, and if one of these big reviewers sees it, stop with your bullshit. Stop thinking about just money. And really, if you care about your fans, start actually with downsides of what you're hearing. And you're not doing that. All you do is just put a feather up their ass from X amount company just to boost their sales. And again, I doesn't negate the fact that you like it, but also be realistic about it and relay that to your fans. That's the least that they fucking deserve, don't you think? Anyways, we're gonna get some flack for this one. I don't give a ass. Enjoy.